Welcome to a brand new episode of Stocks to Buy or Buy, and I'm your host today for 5 stocks that you should either buy or sell. Welcome to this episode, and those are the 5 stocks that we are diving in today. Let me show it to you. Moderna, because Moderna, vaccine Moderna. Then we will talk about Costco when Warren Buffett sells stocks. That has something to do with that he don't see a great future in that, okay? Then let's have a look into Tesla, obviously, after the S&P 500 inclusion. Is it a buy or a sell? Then obviously earnings came out for NIO, the huge stock that went up hundreds of percentage points over the last couple of weeks and months. And finally, we will close this episode with Bitcoin. Now, let's dive into Moderna. But before that, I would like to ask you to type in the comments which stocks you would like to know more about and pick my brain and my opinion on the stocks for next week, okay? 5 stocks or assets every single week. So make sure to type in your favorite asset that I should look into next week. Type it right now and smash obviously the like button and the subscribe button with the ring, because if you haven't yet switched on the bell notification, then you don't know when I'm posting 3 videos per day, and you are not getting informed obviously, and you might miss a huge opportunity on the market. So make sure to do that right now. Now Moderna obviously gained hugely over the past couple of of months, okay? The health situation brought up the attention to the stock and made it go from about pre-pandemic, like 19, 15, to over 100 at some point. And now we are bouncing somewhere at the $93 per stock, which obviously is quite significantly of an increase, and Moderna can do a lot with this new share price. For example, get new capital, that the CEO actually sold a couple of shares, got a little bit of wealth through all of that. But I don't like to be in pharma that much because there's so much uncertainty. This is so much hype right now, guys. We don't know yet if the vaccines will be sold for profit. We don't know which vaccine will be maybe the superior vaccine, which shall be more distributed, and maybe some contracts with some governments need to be done exclusively, and so on and so forth. We don't know how much hype in this stock is right now that can go backwards again. So there's a lot of questions that I don't know the answers for, and that's why I'm not investing into this company. So no and buy for Moderna. All right. So Costco, the retail giant, if you look into the chart of the, last, let's say 34 years of Costco, then you would be quite, happy with the outcome of the stock performance. 3,695 percentage points as of this period. Now, there was always a big investor behind Costco, which was Warren Buffett, right? He thought that, the business model of Costco is very simple, a big retailer, as many outlets as possible, and selling those items which they sell at Costco with a certain margin. Now, we know that retailers are getting into this very hard period with the overall situation as of what happened post health crisis. Will we be back on those levels commercial wise and retail wise where we went before? I don't think so. I think we see a huge change, and Warren Buffett actually said it many times, the biggest competitor for Costco is actually Amazon. And apparently he sees now with the change, or his team obviously, you know, there's a big team behind Berkshire Hathaway meanwhile, there is a change in consumer. This is what I'm believing, this is what I'm interpreting in the sales of Costco's shares by him. I think he sees that there's a customer behavior change after the health crisis, okay? People will order more online. The people will not go into the malls that often, right? You can basically order anything with a delivery next day to your doorstep. So I think, you know, it's a pretty interesting, you know, endeavor what Warren Buffett is doing. So I'm super much excited on this run of Costco and this news of Warren Buffett. But I think that in my personal opinion, in my personal view, the overall situation for Costco, even though there's a great earnings report that just came out by Target that blowed out the earnings report, but you know, I just think that the future of those big retailers is quite limited in terms of growth. And I think as a really good money manager, Warren Buffett just see, okay, let's put money from Costco to another stock that maybe gain more into the future. So I think it's not a buy, so a good buy. Yeah, Tesla is obviously one of those stocks that we love to cover here on this channel. And as you can see in the chart, we had this uptick on Tuesday on the announcement of the inclusion of the S&P 500. So it's still, you know, not that heavy like I would like to see. I would love to see, you know, the 500 mark or the 470 mark, something like that. It's just in a stable technical corridor where the stock could balance itself out and go even further. However, now it's the following important for Tesla. There's 3 scenarios. I actually posted it on my Instagram, so make sure to follow me on Instagram as well. There's 3 scenarios. Number 1, $50 billion in general by funds need to be bought from Tesla shares. There's a couple of options, okay? So option number 1, Tesla will sell. Well, that's a great opportunity if there's so much demand for the stock that $10 billion worth of that stock will be issued by us. You know, obviously those public companies can just snip the fingers and issue new shares and then send it to the market, and the market can buy. The company gets more money into their cash flow. This would be one option, okay? So in this option, you know, the market would be not that skyrocket the Tesla share. The Tesla share could get a little bit down because of the dilution and so on, like at every capital raise. And third point, they, you know, would maybe undersell this stock. Because then there's a second scenario, which I love much better. Let the market do its thing, okay? Let 50 billion worth of Tesla stock to be bought over the next couple of weeks, okay? Then this should be enough demand to bring the Tesla shares and stock to just another level, you know, maybe 500, right? Maybe 550 even, right? Towards the end of the timeline. Which would be mid of December until the 21st of December. Until this date, it must be done. Then, after this is done and the stock is maybe in a total different area, like $500, $600, Tesla then could, you know, raise still $10 billion, but it would need to issue less shares, which is less dilution for shareholders, which is fantastic for Tesla, right? And then the Tesla stock would maybe a little bit go down because of you know, the overall dilution. Is not a nice, great way for shareholders. However, you know, that's always how stocks mostly react. Yeah, so you understand the perspective. So this would be actually my favorite scenario, where we let the stock run first up and then Tesla announced the capital raise. They definitely, I think they will be smart enough to raise some capital with the higher stock price now with the S&P 500 inclusion. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see what's happening. So therefore, I'm buying Tesla. You always can buy Tesla. So it's definitely a purchase stock. Yeah, what to say to NEO, this stock that absolutely overperformed everything. I mean, look at this chart, guys, okay? This chart, since about, the beginning of the year, was, or the stock was at $3.51, okay? I remember that very, very strongly. And then the stock went down 31% to $2.40. Imagine you would bought this stock at $2.40, because since then the stock made over almost 2,000%. And if you just consider the last top, I think even more. However, you see where I'm going to. It's 20 times your money, from $2.4 to more than $53. This is absolutely insane. Is it right that NEO is trading now approximately to 60 times their market cap versus revenue, to Tesla, which is approximately, trading to 13 to 14 to 15, so 4 times more than Tesla? Is it right for NEO? And this is the big problem, guys. Even though the earnings were fantastic, okay? 146% revenue growth and net loss still for the stock. However, the growth is there, forecast was better than expected. But the question here will be, on this high level, there must be now everything right, okay? This is the issue with those valuations, guys, that once the stock hit, 50, and we saw it just after the earnings call and after the earnings report, the stock went down 3%, even though it was a great quarter, right? Nothing to complain big times about. So you can see that there's a lot of expectations. There is, I think, a lot of speculation as well. This doesn't mean ever that the stock cannot go further up, but how you would like to look when you buy now and the stock goes now maybe 20% down, just to balance itself out, profit taking, just come a little bit closer to maybe the short sellers target of 25 of Andrew left by Citron Research. However, I think the probability that the stock goes down to 25 is very low, but I think that it can go down to 30 to 40. Okay, this could be a scenario where you get a little bit of a correction until you can go with the next wave. This is always the same, guys. It goes for Bitcoin, Amazon stock, Tesla stock. First it goes like crazy, it cools down a bit, 10-20%, and then if the company continuously delivering, then it can over a period of months and years to really go higher levels. But this is the point. I would say that at this particular point, when you are watching right now, it's not a buy for me. It could be a buy, a purchase of the stock in just a couple of weeks. And the last asset is the Bitcoin. Obviously, how we could not talk about Bitcoin this week. I think we talked about it last week. So let's have a look what happened since then. Since then, and we said it was a buy, from 15,663 up to 18,381. 16% in 1 week is absolutely insane and great and fantastic. And the reason behind that is more and more institutional investors are buying the stock. There's more and more hedge funds, there's more and more governmental funds surely that will go into Bitcoin. So you will have this money flow into this asset class because people just cannot, the leading hedge funds and money managers, they just cannot justify to not be in this asset, which could be maybe the most profitable asset since the last couple of decades. Okay, I mean, look, when we are looking where we come from, I mean, let's have a look back into the stock, but the all-time stock chart, right, which you can see here, the Bitcoin chart, from the 30th June 2010, which was like $0.06 per Bitcoin, which is 7 cents almost, until now, it's 26,753 846 million profit. This is absolutely insane, guys. Okay, this is, I never saw something like this. I don't know if we ever will see something like this, but this is changing everything. Okay, it's an asset class and a becoming one that is very, very serious. A lot of big guys like PayPal, Square going into it, banks will go into it. So, you know, don't miss on that. If you can, put some money into Bitcoin and you will be very, very happy in a couple of years.